Hey, y'all. It is day 23 of the 31-day challenge. I pray you guys are really digging in to this part of the why of the yield. I gave some definitions on the last video, and today we're going to go into a couple of those, and we're going to use the example of Esther chapter 4, verses 8 through 16, with emphasis on verse 16. We're going to talk today about the surrender, the submission, and being able to give up and relinquish your control. You see, there comes a time in your life where you just might be thinking that everything is golden and gravy. Everything is looking peachy and cream. And then God is requiring more from you. God has an even greater purpose that He wants to fulfill through you. And it requires you to yield to Him in prayer and in life. You see, in this time of Esther, God's people were in trouble. And Esther was put in a position that would help deliver them from it all. You see, Mordecai gave her an order and command to go before the king. Now, Esther hadn't gone to the king for some time, so she probably was living it up in the palace. She knew that what was normally on the law would be that if a man went to the king without being summoned, that it was a possibility that death would be there. But see, Esther, she had a devotion to God. She had a devotion to Mordecai. She had a devotion to God's people. And so she was willing to surrender, to submit, and to give up her life so that God's people can be saved. Even as Mordecai said, who knows that God placed you in this place of authority for such a time as this. You see how we were talking about last week, the authority arise, activate your authority, aligning in your authority, arising to your authority. Because God knew what was going to take place and He needed to place and position someone in authority for such a time as that. And in our lives, God places and positions us for rising up in our authority for such a time as this. And we must yield. That means we got to surrender. We got to submit. We got to be willing to relinquish our agenda, our good time for the moment, so that God can show up and do something greater through us for the saving of another. I want you to take some time in this prayer challenge today to really look at what God may be calling you to that you need to yield for a greater purpose of God that is requiring you to surrender, submit, to relinquish your control, and to give up your own agenda so that God's will can be done through you. We thank you, God, that we have now learned how to posture ourselves. We are cultivated relationship with you, and now we know how to activate and arise in the authority that you have given us. So we yield ourselves to you so that your greater purpose can be fulfilled for another. All right, y'all, it's time to yield to God so that you can fulfill a greater purpose that He has for you and for another. See you all on the next video. Blessings.